Hi there, I'm Savannah, a program manager working on the Python team at Microsoft. In this demo, I'm going to showcase some of the amazing features of our new language server Pylance and show how it enhances the Python and Visual Studio Code experience by providing performant and user-friendly language support. So at this point, you might be wondering, what is Pylance or what is a language server? And you can really just think of Pylance as a provider of all the great development features that you know and love, like auto-completion, syntax highlighting, code navigation, and much more. As of the May release of the core Python extension, Pylance is also now the default language server for Python and Visual Studio Code. So what makes Pylance unique is that Pylance is ultra performant. It doesn't do any upfront analysis of your project, which means that you get to writing code in seconds instead of in minutes, and in the process, less memory is used. Additionally, Pylance is built on top of an open source static type checking tool developed here at Microsoft called Pyrite, which means that it has the power to expose rich type information in tooltips in your workspace, which can help you write less buggy code because you'll know the parameter types of the functions you're trying to invoke, and also lessens the amount of time that you'll have to go and look at external documentation, making you more productive. So, as I mentioned before, Pylance is now the default language server for Python and Visual Studio Code, and this means that no separate installation of Pylance is needed. If you've never set a language server before, you'll have all Pylance functionality working right out of the box. If you've previously set a language server, you'll want to double check that your language server setting is set to default or Pylance to make sure that Pylance is activated. So let's hop over to Visual Studio Code and I'll show you some of that Pylance functionality I was talking about. So I have this data science project loaded in VS Code. So I'm going to actually start typing, and I'm looking at using the GC module. So in this case, what you're seeing here is completions, and I think everyone's pretty familiar with completions. I think that's what takes, a plain text file. Completions are what takes a plain text file and makes it an actual development environment. But what's interesting about Pylance is we provide this thing called an auto import. And so auto imports are Pylance being smart and saying, hey, I know that you can use this module in your function, in your file, but actually haven't imported it yet. And so I'm going to provide you a completion, but upon selection of the completion, I'm actually going to add this import to the file for you so that you don't have to do it later. So in the tooltip here, you can see that Pylance is saying, hey, this is an auto import, and this is the exact import line that I'm going to add to your file. So this preview is here so that there's no confusion about what it is exactly that you're importing. And if I go down this list, you can see other auto imports that contain the GC string. So this is a matplotlib auto import, there's a math auto import, but in this case, this is the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. I can now see that GC was added to my file. And so this works for installed third-party modules that are in your virtual environment or standard library modules. So I'm going to keep writing code. I see more completions now after I hit dot for different functions. In this case, I'm interested in this collect method. And so let's talk about the tooltip that Pylance is providing. So at the very top, we can see the function signature. But what's pretty neat is that Pylance has injected this rich type information for me. So I'm not writing typed Python. I'm not really interested in writing typed Python right now. But Pyrite allows us to embed this rich type information and actually see that the parameter that I could pass in here is of type int, and that the return type of the function is also type int. So this kind of gives you like a TypeScript type flavor in Python, even if you're not looking to write typed Python. We also have this really, really clear doc string here that helps me understand what function that I'm trying to invoke, which is helpful and prevents me from having to look at external documentation and keeps me in the editor so I can actually save time. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then now I can see this signature help, which has the same information we saw in the completion tooltip, but I can see it while I'm invoking the function if I need to pass in parameters, which is really helpful. And in this case, we have the generation parameter bolded because that's the active parameter. And if I had many more parameters to pass in, Pylance would actually incrementally move to the next parameter as I start to pass them in, which helps me keep track. And this is pretty helpful for functions that have a lot of different parameters that you're looking to pass in, especially for some of those really nitty-gritty data science functions like read CSV. There's tons and tons of parameters you could pass in, so this is kind of helpful. In this case, I'm actually not going to pass anything in. The next thing I'm going to highlight in terms of imports is this dead code detection that Pylance does. So in this case, we're looking at this line 2 here where OS is kind of grayed out. And so what this is saying to me is that it's unused. And so I feel like this is a pretty common thing where, you're prototyping something and you import a bunch of things, and then at the end, you end up actually not needing them, and then maybe you have a bunch of stale imports at the top of your file. Pylance is smart enough to know, hey, this is actually not being used. You can actually go ahead and remove that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the code action light bulb here, and it says remove the unused import. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Pylance also does this for unreachable code. It'll completely gray out a block of code that's unreached, which can help you find edge cases and bugs in your code more easily. The other thing I want to mention is that auto imports are maybe a little bit contentious. There are people that really like them and people that really don't like them. And we're all about flexibility here on the Python team. So you can actually disable them if you're really interested. And if you want to still use something that kind of helps you manage adding imports to your file, you can do something that allows you a little bit more control. So I can instead, let's say I remove this GC import line. I'm going to get a diagnostic on this line that says, hey, Pylance is detecting that GC is not defined here. And if I go and click that, it's going to say, hey, do you want to go and add it? And I'm going to say yes, because I do. So it's going to re-add it to the top of the file. So instead you can use that add import code action. The other thing in terms of code actions that you can do here is, let's say I was interested in making this a method. I could go ahead and we could use the extract method code action, and Pylance would wrap that in a function. Or if I was interested, I could also extract it as a variable, and Pylance would do that for you as well. And this also applies to like bigger blocks of code. So let's say I want to do this whole block here. Pylance would also do that for me, which is pretty handy. Sometimes, you want to do a quick refactor. And then, of course, Pylance can also go to definition. So I can control click through to the pandas module and read source code there. And then finally, something that I'm pretty excited about is the notion of semantic highlighting or semantic colorization. So semantic colorization is really just an extension of syntax highlighting that uses the semantic meaning of symbols and applies different colors to them in a semantic color supporting theme. So in this case, I'm using a theme that supports semantic tokens called OneDark Pro, and you can see that yellow is being used for modules, blue is being used for functions, and so on. And this just helps with the readability and understanding of your code. If I were to use a theme that didn't support semantic color and I toggled to just the plain dark theme, you'd see that I lose all that semantic meaning. So you do need to use a theme that supports semantic tokens, but Pylance does provide them. So flipping back over to the deck, I just wanted to show a quick feature summary of all the things that I showcased in the demo today. I also wanted to highlight 2 other extensions that Pylance is compatible with, one being IntelliCode, which prioritizes your completions based on your specific code context, helping make you more productive, as well as Jupyter Notebooks. Finally, if you're interested in trying out writing typed Python or already writing typed Python, you can get the power of Pywrite directly in the box with Pylance by enabling a strict or basic type checking mode. Again, if you're interested in using Pylance, it already comes in the box with the Core Python extension as of this month. And so you can get the Core Python extension, if you don't already have it, at aka.ms/vscode-python. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, I'd love to hear from you on Twitter. Thanks for hanging out.